Cedars Racing Team Ford. He'll start from position number 8. So it's Nathan Pretty to the left of screen. New colours for him this year. Andrew Fisher to the right, who's been on the podium here for the last couple of years. Can he win the round? We'll find out. Final race of the weekend. Off and running down to turn number 1. Gary Baxter and Reece McNally start on the second row of the grid. And look for Ryle Harris, car number 1, reigning champ, looking to work his way through side by side through the first chicane.
Great start from Fisher, but Pretty's not ready to give it up yet. He's fought hard for this position. Oh, Noonan around into the turn 2.
And that's not me, that's Rhett Noonan. He gets cleaned up on the way through. And that was Richard Bloomfield, who's knocked the left front off the 57 car.
Broken suspension all over the place, panels flying. This is a ute race, let's not forget, as the guys make it through the turns 4, 5 and 6.
Took 2 corners before we had drama. We jump on board with Elliot Barber looking forward at Ryle Harris, the tap-out Falcon, car number 1, reigning champion, sealed the deal in Sydney last year. And we saw him put a pretty brutal pass on David Cedars in race 1 on Friday. He actually got pinged for that. He got penalised 10 positions for the rough pass. He's been fighting his way back through the weekend ever since.
It's been the note of the weekend, hasn't it? You know, we've seen a lot of drivers handed out post-race penalties. So that
was Ryle Harris. Did he get away with it?
The boys are trying on lap 1, aren't they, Noons?
He did. He made it through. I don't know how. But there's been plenty. They're not taking any rubbish up in race control in the V8 utes. Paul Stokel is handling the driver's standards observer role this weekend, and there's been plenty of penalties handed out. There've been some yellow flag passes, some passes that were deemed a bit too brutal. So they're really not taking any rubbish from the first round of the year. But it's Nathan Pretty who leads the way. The new look Milwaukee Commodore, Fisher second, Reece McNally third. There he is in the Stratco Commodore. Gary Baxter next to is a South Australian 2-time ute round winner here on the streets of Adelaide, and it's his final season of ute racing. He's going to stop at the end of the year, but he's still got pace. He's still running with the front runners. Troy Donis has got more dramas. He had problems in race 1 on Friday.
One of our local drivers. He was really looking forward to this race for sure.
Have a look at this for a replay. Got to help. Ducked.
You and me both, Moons.
You fire 31 utes into the first chicane on the Rare Spares replay, and not all of them make it through with the grille facing forwards. And that is the spinning Rhett Noonan. And we're watching the time screen. Ryle Harris slipping down the timing screen. So I dare say he might have some damage from earlier on. Troy Donis right front is damaged on his car, but back to the front, it's Nathan Pretty hanging on, leading the way. Third in the points last year, and was a contender all season. He's looking strong from the start of the championship. Oh, this is deep.
In on the rears as they come into turn 9. Such a huge braking zone, especially in these utes. It's so heavy, so hard to pull up.
Back through the Ordinal edge there in the number 2 car. We've got a really good mix this year. There's plenty of rookies who've joined in the series as well. And I think it was our timing monitor that was having a little bit of a drama with Ryle Harris. He is still running in position 7 in behind Chris Walton, who actually did win race 2 yesterday, but had it taken off him for some contact with his own teammate Ryan Hansford as he was on his way through in the reverse grid race is what I was trying to say. So he's also charging his way through, and he's just at the fastest lap of the race, so there's no problem with his speed.
Yeah, Chris Walton's sort of styling himself as the new Ryle Harris, Mr. Excitement, isn't he? You know, he's making all these big passes in the reverse grid races, always goes forward, but sometimes pushes his luck a little far.
On board with Elliot Barber, one of the rookies. I think we've got 7 rookies in the field this year, looking forward at another Jesse Dixon. This is Harris. That's pushing it. He left our camera alone, which is good. Just scraped it with the left rear. Hang on. Oh, boy.
I did that once here in V8 utes. Tried to do turn 8 flat. Didn't quite work out for me.
How many wheels did you have left on it?
I still had 4. It was a nice, graceful slide. We've got a frame by frame of it on the wall at home.
Nathan Pretty leading the way. Down through turn 8. Fisher, McNally, Hansford is up to 4th. Baxter next, then Chris Walton in that brightly liveried Falcon, but he's got Ryle Harris menacing down the inside. Then it's Elliot Barber, Jesse Dixon on debut in the Heyman Reese Tobars Commodore.
Now 2 rookies doing a good job there in the top 10.
Yeah, and they're taking on guys who've driven these cars for a long, long time. It's very rare that rookies jump in and instantly run at the front.
Well, you know, they're both with good cars. They're both with good teams. They've both got good cars, so it's really exciting to see young guys like that given a good chance.
Spoken like a young guy.
youngish.
Yeah, near enough, near enough.
It was 2007, my first time here, mate, in V8 Utes. I remember it was a great
I
fun,
remember
good
it too.
experience.
Back in the day, former Ute racer yourself. You've had plenty of fun in this category over the years, and we're seeing more drivers developing through it and moving on to Dunlop Series racing and the like.
Well, it's a real alternative.
I'm shocked.
Don't they sound?
Race, but to pick up the opening round win of 2013, it's, would you believe it, the 13th time the Utes have raced here in Adelaide. They've become a staple part of the diet here at the Clipsal 500. How about the lockups down at turn 9? Royal Harris was in pretty deep there as well. Jack Elsgood, the Fuchs Falcon here, car number 11, fighting with Charlie O'Brien, who just can't stay away from this series. He comes in, he goes out, he comes back. You know, he was here for the first Adelaide Grand Prix. I had to go through the stats books. Third in the touring car race in a BMW. This is not good. Cam Wilson has had a spin on the exit of turn 9. One of the big gun Falcons.
Straight into reverse, flicks the J-turn. You know, Cam's had a pretty up and down weekend, and, whoa, it looks like it's not getting any better for him at the moment.
He's previously been the lead engineer for that team. He had a race on the Gold Coast last year and won it. And
beat me.
And has now stepped in this season.
I was trying to pass him for the last 4 laps. You know, he had that thing, the thing was as wide as a dump truck.
I think he cut the chicane a couple of times just quietly as well. Let's have a look at the replay. It's a DIY, or as Craig Donis assisted here, I'd say he has. Bang. There's the touch.
You know, Cameron sort of did that to himself. He was a little bit wide, turned in on Craig, in my opinion. So, look, you know, it's just no room. 2 into 1 doesn't go there.
Interesting to see what Paul Stokel in race control will make of that. Just hearing, too, that Ryan Hansford will pick up a post-race 5-second penalty applied to his race time for a jump start infringement. So he sits third on the road, but that will obviously change. Boy, David Cedars using all of the road. He got the mirror.
He's not short of commitment, is he, David? No. He knows how to drive these things. He knows how to drive them hard. But for my money, Nathan Pretty, what a class act all weekend. He's been fantastic.
They're not going to get near him, even though Cedars did break the lap record earlier on in the weekend. He has the fastest lap in this race. Here he is down the inside on Charlie O'Brien. And that point I was making earlier, that Charlie was here in 85 for the first Grand Prix in a BMW touring car. He finished third behind Dick Johnson and Peter Brock. He's been in and out of the Utes. He's had success. He's won rounds. He's won races. And he's joining the Cedars team this year, driving this number 10 FW1 car. So he's right in and among them. And Cedars here's got some pace, but not many laps to play with.
Yeah, exactly right. Cedars got a lot of work to do after some missteps earlier on in the weekend. Oh, as he goes wide, Charlie's on the inside. Teammates, 2 FW1 cars out of the last turn. Big drag race down to turn 1.
Gee, if that's how your teammate treats you, I'd hate to see how you go with the rivals.
Well, how about Walton and Hansford?
Well,
in race 2, same thing.
They had contact yesterday.
We've got a bit of history going on this weekend. Seems like there's some red mist coming down in the air.
Every man for themselves is the Ute motto, and certainly that's what they're doing at the moment.
Not wrong.
Pretty stretching the margin, George. 1.4 seconds back to Andrew Fisher. Hansford next, of course, with that 5-second penalty hanging over his race time. This is Cedars. He was wide and deep in. Charlie sees a gap. He's sliding as well. There goes some glass.
Charlie back on the gas, big drift, you know. He knows these things. He races them really well, as we see a move with Fisher.
Oh, that was Hansford trying to get a move at turn 4. Didn't get in the gap.
Great recovery by Fisher.
Yeah, very easily could have looped it around there. But Pretty's got away. He's building the margin. It's 2.1 seconds. And this time last year, all the Holden boys were bleating that the Fords were too fast. Judging from the mix of cars we're seeing here with Fords and Holdens, looks like Parity's pretty good, and Hansford knows he needs to make time. He needs to get as far down the road as he can, because 5 seconds will be added to his time.
Yeah, exactly right. As we see Gary Baxter, Elliot Barber, nice little battle pack here. Up over the curb, smashing down, rear end hanging out. Man, good Ute racing.
Riding on board with Chris Walton in the Renko Ford, run by the Rod Dawson squad from Queensland, and he was strong at the start of last year. He won the round here, but then he faded. Jesse Dixon down the inside there, but Walton was 7th in the points last year and just faded in the second half of the season. But we know he is fast and not afraid to use the bumper.
He is fast, but he's struggling for pace at the moment. I can't understand why. You know, we're seeing all of our rookies go past as the rear of the Heyman Reese car hanging off.
And this is Dontis into pit lane in the Thirsty Camel Commodore. So both of the Dontis boys, twin brothers, have had dramas in this race. Now, Fisher's got a drama too. He's got the wipers on. It's not raining, we can tell you that much. Harris is trying to do the old over and under, get on the outside of this one. Turns into the inside for here.
He'll have it done here.
And Reese McNally wants to put his nose in here and grab another spot, but Fisher being shuffled back down, and this will change the podium positions. Not P1. Nathan Pretty's looking pretty rock solid for that, but it's going to shuffle around the minor spots on the podium for the weekend.
Yeah, exactly right. And check out the racing line these cars are taking out of turn 7, up and over the curb. You don't see that from the supercars. They're super aggressive, trying to keep that momentum up because utes are pretty heavy.
Peter Burnett's got dramas. Left front is ripped out of the front of that Falcon. Oh, look at this, McNally with the big block on, penultimate lap, and he knows that he can be defensive because Baxter's trying to sneak down the inside.
Barber's sniffing in there too.
On the points though, George, Hansford 112, Fisher 112, McNally 112, Baxter 112. You see the theme here? It's pretty close.
Yeah, we're going to go to a countback at this stage. So to use one of your terms, mate, this is pretty willing.
Oh, wild and willing. Of course, Hansford will have 5 seconds added to his race time, so he'll drop down the order, so he probably doesn't become the factor. How is Gary Baxter? Boy, they've saved up the action for the last race.
Yeah, that's you racing, mate. You know, these guys never let up. Looks like Elliott's might have missed a gear there as the rookies are back in action again.
This might explain Peter Burnett. Yes, it will. He's done what Kim Jane did on Friday and jagged that tyre bundle, and it's just ripped the left front out of that car.
Oh, just painful to watch, isn't it? You know, when those tyres grab that big bundle there, as we see another series rookie, Stephen White Dog White, in the background of that shot.
That looks expensive either way. Lucky it's not us paying, but here's Ryan Hansford. He's second. There's Nathan Pretty. We haven't seen much of him, but he's down the road and on target to win his second race for the weekend and the round overall. Just
the kind of coverage you want to really get out of the camera because you're so far in front. You know, Nathan's doing a great job, and like you say, class act. Look at these cars mount the curve on the exit turn 7, maintaining that momentum, running right the way over, just to keep the speed up because of you, 1,800 kilos. 400 horsepower, very, very heavy, hard to accelerate.
Looks like that rear bumper on Jesse Dixon's car has been missed. It was flailing before, but he missed a gear and lost a spot. And there is the change. Walton in front of Dixon, and he's actually slowing there by the looks of things because he's going to lose another one to David Cetus, who slips down the inside on this final lap. Oh, look at this, Jack Elsgood. He's trying to get by Dixon, who's just limping. He's just trying to get to the line.
He's got to have some mechanical problems there. Dixon's been actually really strong all weekend and has impressed quite a lot of people, but looking pretty. Class act.
Talking about strong, talking about looking pretty. Nathan Pretty, last one in Tasmania.
On the exit.
One in Tasmania last year. Will bring it to the line to take his second race win of the weekend. He will pick up the round, and the Holden fans here in Adelaide like what they see. Pretty's home first. Hansford is second on the road, but he'll bump down the order with that plus 5 seconds. So Ryle Harris will take second, and Dixon's just desperate to limp it to the line. He fades outside the top 10. He does make it home in position 15. But on the road, it's Pretty from Hansford, Harrison Fisher, Reese McNally in 5th from Gary Baxter. Elliot Barber, great first weekend in Utes for him.
Great
7th.
rookie effort.
Walton 8th, Cedars 9th, and Jack Elsgood rounded out the top 10. Stay with us, not too far away.